Welcome to Surfboards UK. Today I'm going to show you how to make this into one of these. The first step to making your own surfboard is to grab yourself what we call a surfboard blank, which is what I have right here. So these come in many different shapes and different sizes. The majority of them come in with the basic outline shape of the surfboard. We've got a straight rectangular one here, just because we can put it on our cutting machine and make sort of any shape we want, from a longboard to a shortboard. These blanks come in two main types of construction. First one is PU, polyurethane, and the second one is expanded polystyrene, which is also known as EPS. The EPS is what we have right here, and we'll be going through the process of EPS today. There's a big debate on what construction is actually better in a surfboard. We've discussed that in a blog on our website, surfboardsukltd.com, or check out the link in the description. But now, let's get on to the next stage, which is the cutting process. Right, now the blank is on our machine, we set the computer up to cut around the specific shape we have designed. Our machine can cut to millimetre precision, that way we can recreate the same board over and over again each and every time. This process can be done by hand, it just takes a lot more time and it's a lot more skill involved. If you don't happen to have one of these lying around in your garage, you can come to us, we can give you a cut, help you design a board. All our details are going to be on the website, surfboardsukltd.com, link will be in the description for that one as well. Right, so we'll show you a quick time lapse of this board being cut, and then we'll head on to the next step. Right, now the machine is done, it has turned our blank into a surfboard shape. The next step is we're just going to remove the tiny little scratches just to give it a smoother finish. Right, if you're wondering what we do with our waste, we take it to get recycled. There it will get broken down and then fused back together to either make packaging or another blank. Right, on to the next step. So all we're doing here is literally just taking out these tiny little grooves in the board. As you can see, it doesn't take much at all to give it a nice smooth finish. Right, perfect. Now that's got a nice smooth finish. It's ready for the next step in the laminating room. Next step, really simple. Just going to leave the blank to get up to temperature. We leave our blank in our hot room overnight, that way all the gases escape the blank and then the blank gets up to the same temperature as the resin. This way, the resin cures harder, quicker and stronger. Right, see you tomorrow.
Hang on, what about me?
Right, so it's the next day. The blank is at the same temperature as the resin now. Next step is we're just going to seal the blank. We do this with this powder type thing called microbloons. As you can see, it's just this really fine powder. So what we do next is we just add this into the resin to make it a little bit more thicker. The resin is now mixed with the microbloons ready for the seal coat. We spread this over the board to firstly give it a better finish, and it also prevents potential pinholes. This step isn't a must, but we have found it reduces pinholes and you get a much better end product. Right, now the blank's all nicely sealed, time to get the fins in. You can do this process now at this stage or after the board's been glassed. We just want to do it at this stage because this one's having a carbon bottom, so we want the carbon coming over the fins. As you can see, we've marked up where the fins are about to go. So let's just drop them in. Sweet, so that's the fins in place. We're going to leave them to cure overnight, ready for laying up in the morning. Perfect, so the fins are all nicely in place. Now time for the laminating. We're going to use a standard cloth on the deck with a resin tint, and then on the bottom we're going to use carbon fibre. Sweet, let's go. That's the board all laminated. It's come out really nice. We've put the pin lines and logo on, and now it's ready for a sand coat. All that is a layer of resin that we can sand back to make the board nice and flat and level. Yeah, sweet, let's do it. Now the sand coat is on, we've just put the leash plug in. So now we're ready for sanding. All we're doing here is just taking out the high spots of the board just to make it nice and flat. We can't film in here just because it gets a bit too dusty, so what we'll do is we'll split the board into sections and show you the different stages of sanding. Sweet, let's do it! We'll start with the nose where we haven't sanded at all. As you can see, it's still nice and shiny, just as it was before. As we move down into the middle section of the board, we've briefly gone over this with sandpaper. You can see a few clouded areas. This is just the high spots of the board. So the idea is we sand that down to where the shiny points are now, so the board is nice and flat. As you can see, the tail section is a lot more cloudy, it's roughed up and it's nice and flat. This is how we want the whole board to look by the end. That's the board all sanded, so now what we can do is either we can increase the grit of the sandpaper and make it smoother than put a clear lacquer over it, or we can do what we're going to do, which is put a layer of resin over the top to fill in all the scratches and give it a smoother finish. As you can see, it's still a little bit rough now, so that resin just fills it all in and makes it nice and smooth. Sweet, let's do it. Now the resin is on, it's another trip back to the sanding bay. All we're going to do there is take out the brush marks that have been left from putting the resin on. We will then work our way up to the finer grits of sandpaper to leave it for a better finish. We can then go on to put a polish on there or leave it how it is. Sweet, let's go. So there it is, the end product. So to finish off, we've taken it to 2000 grit sandpaper and it's just given it a real nice, clean and smooth finish. It's got a bit of a sheen as well, which I really like. And we've also added a bit of polish in the tail there, just to give the board an extra bit more character. Sweet, so let's go try it out. Ew!